What's going on, everyone? CJ back here with a brand new episode of the SFL. That is right, the Smallz Football League. Got a special episode for you guys today since you all rock so much, and we now have 166 subscribers in the league. Kind of hard to update you guys all consistently on how your player is doing in terms of stats for the year. So I figured we would take a little mini episode, if you will, so I can go through everybody's stats individually for all the subscriber players in the league, and also the team stats, so that way you know how your team and how your player stacks up with the rest of the teams and the rest of the players in the SFL. So San Jose Industrials game will have to wait until next episode, so Yeezy Fuentes, Dominic Marinai, and all the other subscribers on the Industrials, don't worry, we'll have that action next week, but it will have to wait just one more episode.
What?
And if you're new here, man, stick around. I custom relocated all 32 teams in Madden myself on Team Builder, so custom logos, as you see, 2 of them on your screen here, custom uniforms, custom stadiums, all the names, all the concepts came up by me, and also did a fantasy draft at the beginning of season number 1. So all the players, well, most of them are a lot of them are replaced now by subscribers, but no team, all the teams are mixed up, all the players are everywhere in the league. And I also allow subscribers to join this league as created players. And as I mentioned, we now have 166 subscribers in the league. So thank you all so much for the engagement. Now, typically I do play a full game each episode with the Tuscaloosa Terminators, but as I mentioned, that's not going to happen in this episode. This episode is just going to be stats. So we'll break down all your subscriber player stats, break down all the team stats, show you guys what's going on with yearly awards and the playoff picture. We got a lot to get into today. Cue the intro, man. But before we go over stats, we do have 3 new players joining the league today, again putting our grand total at 166 subscribers in the league. And as always, if you would like to join the SFL as a creative player, check the pinned comment down below. It's got all the information I would need to add you into the league next episode. Also, check out the official SFL Discord. We keep track of standings, some stats in there, general chat, all the subscribers, league breakdown, all that good stuff. And check out the channel memberships, only a couple bucks a month. You could support me and you get a bunch of cool perks, including getting your player Superstar or X Factor Dev. But first subscriber joining on the number 1 seed Providence Red Raiders over in the AFC, we have cornerback Mark Dixon. So shout out at Jimmy DeLeon down there in the comments for making this entry here. And Mark is joining one of the best squads in the SFL, got the PS2 build. Mark is 6'2", 160 pounds, out of Oregon State. A true man-to-man corner, just like Patrick Surtain, and he has got lockdown man coverage with the 90 man coverage rating. Decent in zone too. Don't sleep on him with the 83 zone, but definitely going to be manning up the better wide receivers in the SFL. Really good at jumping, really good at catching too, with 88 and 75 subsequently. So Mark Dixon is going to be looking to make some noise, joining the other subscribers on the Red Raiders. And welcome to the league, Mark Dixon. New wide receiver here on the team that just beat us last week in what some may call the game of the year. If you did not watch that game, I'm not going to spoil it for you. Well, I guess I just did spoil it for you, but you should still go watch it because, man, that was the most fun I had in Madden maybe ever. And I will put a little card up here at the top of the screen. If you did not catch that episode, go check it out. But new wide receiver here on the St. Petersburg Manatees, we got Lex Rose. So shout out at Divine Teller down there in the comments for making this entry here. Lex is 6'2", 212 out of Navy. So appreciate your service, my brother. Deep threat wide receiver, it says, but also really just a playmaker too. And I mean, get out of town. Get out of freaking town. 99 speed, 99 acceleration. Thank God he wasn't on the team when we played him last week, because that game was hard enough as it is. And I feel like Lex would have been torching us downfield. So an absolute speed demon. He can catch the ball really well with 89 catching, and solid in all route running capacities, 85 across the board with the short, medium, and deep. And the Manatees, I will show you at the end of the episode, but they may or may not be in playoff contention now. And adding Lex Rose here, only going to help their chances. So welcome to the league and the Manatees, Lex Rose. And also new middle linebacker here on the Manatees, we have Tank Mason. So shout out at Bleed Green KM down there in the comments for this one here. And Tank, really good field general type of player, 6'3", 225 out of Texas. He is solid across the board, really no true weaknesses. Like, he's a jack of all trades, a DIY, do it yourself, do it all. Does that make sense? Do it yourself?
Bro, what are you talking about, man?
I don't know, do it all receiver, I should say, is where I was going with that. But I mean, 91 speed, very fast, 85 tackling. He's a sure tackler. He can shed blocks, stop the run, very smart with 84 play recognition, and a pretty good coverage guy with 80 zones. So again, like I said, same with Lex Rose. Really glad Tank Mason wasn't on the team when we played him, because maybe it would have been harder for us to score points. But the Manatees looking good. They're making some noise. They got a couple good subscribers joining today. So welcome to the league, Tank Mason. So going to go ahead and go in alphabetical order with the teams here. So feel free to skip ahead if you want to find your team and your player. But I would really appreciate it. I could definitely use the watch hours. So maybe if you want to hint, nudge, just watch the whole video. I would certainly appreciate it. And starting off here with Craig Ray on the Albany Argonauts. And just for context, the top passers in the league have like in the mid to low 3,000s of yardage. So that's kind of where, you know, the bar is set right now. So Craig, decent season in terms of yardage so far, 2,643 yards to be exact. So not, you know, in the top 10 or anything like that. 23 touchdowns. I feel like, you know, low 30s to mid to high 20s is probably like around the league average. So Craig with 23 touchdowns, 10 picks. So at least over a 2-to-1 touchdown interception ratio. So that is really good to see. Bobby Donuts, Superstar X Factor, and channel member on this team. Go check the channel memberships out. I'm telling you, it's definitely worth it. But for context on running backs, the highest running backs in the league in the 900s of yards. So Bobby Donuts is right there with 885. He averages 4.1 yards per carry, and he's got 7 touchdowns now on the season. I feel like low teens is probably where the tops are at for touchdowns. We'll do top 5 at the end here too. And Craig Ray and Bobby has fumbled 1 time and broken 36 tackles. Craig Ray has also ran 55 times for 242 yards and 5 touchdowns. So getting it done on the ground from his QB position. And even the wide receiver, Jeff Burke, he's also got 9 carries too on little probably reverses or end arounds with 30 yards and also 2 touchdowns for Jeff. And then receiving wise, Jeff Burke here, second on the team with 630 yards on 40 receptions. There's about 5 or 6 receivers over 1,000 yards so far in the season. So that's kind of where the benchmark is. He averages 52.5 per game. And he's also caught 10 touchdowns, which is best on the team. High teens is probably, I think, where the highest, you know, receiving touchdown leaders are. So, I mean, Jeff, you know, kind of middle of the pack, I would say. David Njoku used to be on our team. Sad. But no, I'm not sad, because our new tight end, who you'll see here shortly, is a monster. And then Dunkin' Donuts caught 37 catches for 375 yards. He averages 31.3 yards per game, and he has caught 3 touchdowns as well. And then defensively, we got 1 defender on the team here, and that would be Mr. Chuck Pick. So left end here from Illinois, Chuck has 13 tackles, 3 TFLs, and high teens is kind of where the leaders are at for TFLs. Also 3 sacks, low teens, kind of where the sack leaders are here in the SFL. So Chuck, you know, not making the most, most desirable impact, but some good stats there, some things to like. And these are the stats of your Albany Argonauts in the NFC East. Edmonton Coyotes in the AFC North up next, and we got another channel member here. We have 6 channel members now in the league, so I appreciate you guys wholeheartedly. But Caden Haskins Jr. on the Edmonton Coyotes, 2,739 yards, and he has 17 touchdowns to 9 interceptions. So he's definitely having a bit of a sophomore slump. Played really phenomenal last season in season number 1. Doing okay. The Coyotes are starting to put together some wins, which is nice. And he's completed 68% of his passes, averages 228.3 per game. And rushing wise here, we got Jackson Hyde, Jackson Hyde, might I add, tons of ladies here in the SFL too. Just saying, ladies, go ahead and join if you're an avid football fan. But Jackson has carried 148 times for 610 yards, averaging 4.1 yards per carry, and 4 touchdowns. So kind of a rough season for Jackson. And then Caden, as a QB, has run 60 times for 329, averaging 5.5 yards per carry, and 3 touchdowns as well. And then receiving-wise, we got a few here. BT Millie leading the team in terms of receptions and yards. So he has caught 57 passes for 667 yards, averaging 55.6 per game. And he also leads the team in touchdowns with 8. So shout out BT, definitely making some noise there in Edmonton. Fuck yeah! And then Timmy Winfield second in receptions and yards, 48 passes caught for 616, averaging 51.3 yards per game, but no touchdowns on the season. Okay, that is not concerning, but kind of. You know, you would definitely like to see him have some touchdowns. That much is for sure. And Jackson Hyde, as a running back, also getting involved, caught 31 passes for 247, averaging 20.6 per game, and 2 touchdowns. And then Trevor Gronkowski, the 7-foot, 400-pound tight end. Stats are kind of skewed because he literally just joined like an episode ago, 2 episodes ago maybe, but still 12 catches, 101 yards, and averages 8.4 yards per game with 0 touchdowns. I almost forgot on the Argonauts. If I miss you guys, feel free to berate me in the comments. I know I'm probably going to miss somebody, so go easy on me. But just wanted to shout out Bobby Donuts on the Argonauts as a running back. Caught 22 receptions for 202, averaging 16.8 yards, no touchdowns. My bad, Bobby. And yeah, like I said, if I miss your player, please let me hear about it down below in the comment section. And the defenders, we got several here on the Coyotes. Cornerback Hakeem Milton has 55 tackles. That's 5th place on the team. He's also got 3 TFLs, no sacks and no picks, which you definitely want to see at least some picks, right? As a corner. Defenders having kind of a rough year in the SFL. We got some good ones, definitely, but not seeing a lot of people really making huge impacts, at least not yet. We still got some season left to go. Free safety, Trayvon, he has 50 tackles, 1 TFL, and no sacks or no picks. Does have 1 pass deflection, and Hakeem Milton has 4, so definitely want to shout that out there. Bob Doodle, the middle linebacker, has 47 tackles, no TFLs, only a half a sack, does have 4 pass deflections. I will say Cody Bricks, though, having a really good season. He's got 42 tackles, but 3 TFLs, 7 sacks. Like I said, low teens is kind of the high end of the sack leader, so Cody's definitely having a good season. But those are the subscriber players on the Edmonton Coyotes, and shout out to all you good sirs and lady. Kissimmee Crocs in the AFC East, they got 2 subscribers, and they are also climbing the win column as well. So some teams that started out kind of rough, starting to pick it up here as we approach the last quarter of the season. But Pinky Darts, quarterback who replaced Patrick Mahomes on the Crocs, 2,696 yards. He's got 22 touchdowns to 9 interceptions, so over a 2-to-1 touchdown interception ratio. You'll definitely take that. And Pinky has completed 71% of his passes, averaging 224 per game. And he has also ran 65 times for 280 and also a touchdown. So a lot of subscriber quarterbacks getting it done on the ground. Also, wide receiver Blake Altenhofen, he's ran 9 times for 21. And then as far as Blake Altenhofen's receiving stats, having a good season here in the SFL, leading the team in receptions, yards, and touchdowns. So shout out to you, Blake. 69 catches, you'll love to see that number, just saying, for 804 yards, averaging 67 a game for 7 touchdowns. So Blake is definitely showing up and showing out. And shout out to Blake Altenhofen and Pinky Darts here on the Kissimmee Crocs. Portland Destroyers in the AFC West are up next, and Dominic Young is one of the leaders in the SFL in terms of yards and touchdowns. I'll show you all the top 5 here after we do individuals, but Dominic having a phenomenal season. So far, 3,180 yards, 32 touchdowns to 11 interceptions. Pretty much a 3-to-1 touchdown interception ratio, completing 68% of his passes and averaging 265 per game. So really nice work by Dominic. And the 38-year-old rookie, I know, right? It's all kinds of crazy stuff here in the SFL. The 38-year-old rookie has also ran 57 times for 239 and 2 touchdowns, so that's good. And then wide receiver Alexander Kleblek has also carried the ball 9 times for 33 yards and a touchdown. And I know Kleblek is having Keenan Allen, who I believe leads the SFL in yards. He's up there for sure, and definitely touchdowns. Like, look at that. But Kleblek not far behind him. He does lead the team in receptions at 75, and he has 828 yards on the season, averaging 69 per game, and also 8 touchdowns. So shout out Dominic Young and Alexander Kleblek on the Portland Destroyers. Got 3 subscribers here on the Jersey Shore D's, last season's SFL Super Bowl champs. Not having the best season so far, but they did get the illustrious Smallz trophy last season, so got to shout out them. And how about tight end Jesse Moore? As a tight end, mind you, I'm not sure if this is a good thing or a bad thing, but leading the team in receptions and yards. He's having a really good season. 78 catches. Lamar Jackson is the D's quarterback, by the way. One of only, I think, 2 teams that don't have a subscriber quarterback now. So Jesse Moore, though, 78 catches, 902 yards, averaging 75.2 per game, and also caught 3 touchdowns. And then we got Tommy Pickle, the wide receiver here, 44 catches for 585, averaging 48.8 yards per game, and also 3 touchdowns as well. So pretty nice work there from the receivers / tight ends. And then defensively, we got cornerback Aiden Grau, 3rd place on the team in tackles with 58. No TFLs, no sacks, that kind of stinks, but 2 interceptions. So definitely always good to see corners in the SFL getting interceptions, because sometimes they don't. So nice work there from Aiden, grabbing 2, and then also 2 pass deflections as well. So pretty good season, and a shout out to the 3 subscribers here on the Jersey Shore D's. Oklahoma City Eels, who are in our division, and again, I do play as the Tuscaloosa Terminators, just in case you did not know, each and every episode. Eels are in our division, and quarterback Mason Buchanan, who plays well every season, even going back to the Madden 24 SFL iteration, continuing that trend with 3,041 passing yards so far on the season, and a killer 4-to-1 touchdown interception ratio, 24 touchdowns to only 6 picks with a 72% completion rating, averaging 253.4 yards per game. So shout out Mason, always clutch here in the SFL. Running back Grom Briner has carried the ball 151 times for 573 yards, 3.8 average yards per carry, not the best stat. Does have 6 touchdowns though, and a fumble. And then Mason Buchanan, the QB, has carried the ball 42 times for 213 and averaging 5.1 yards per carry, 3 touchdowns, but 2 fumbles. Got to be careful there, Mason. Don't want to have the butterfingers if you're going to be carrying a lot of balls, that's for sure. Pause. What? Come on, man. And receiver Ray has also ran the ball 3 times for 9 yards. No touchdowns, though. Rayer as a receiver, pretty okay season, I would say. Nothing crazy, but he's caught 59 passes, which is best on the team, for 596. He averages 49.7 yards per game. Only 2 touchdowns, so definitely want to see that number go up for sure. And then Grom Briner having a down year in terms of receiving. He probably led the team as a running back in receptions last season. Not the case so far with 246 yards, averaging 20.5 per game, and then also no touchdowns as well. And then we do have a defender on this team, if I can find him here. Where is... I am losing track of all our subscribers. I know I'm sorry, right in front of me. Dr. Dre Harris, 3rd place on the team in tackles with 60, does have a TFL and also 2 interceptions to go along with 8 pass deflections. So not a bad season from Dr. Dre. Eels are doing good. They're in the playoffs if it started today. So shout out to our subscribers on the Oklahoma City Eels. Yeah, Louisville Fighters in the AFC North. They're the other team that don't have a subscriber quarterback yet. They still got Jay Herbo. So if you want to join the Fighters, Muhammad Ali inspired team, you can see there by the logo, definitely inspired by Ali. Go ahead and make a submission if you don't already have 2 subscribers in the league. I know, guys, I love the engagement, but please, for me, I'm never gonna not add somebody, okay, if you make a submission, but it would really help me if you keep it to max 2 subscribers per entry. Rant over. I'm just saying, I love you guys, you're awesome, but Anyways, one subscriber on the Louisville Fighters, that would be strong safety Charlie Wicker, and he is 4th place on the team in tackles with 53. He's got 1 TFL, no sacks, no picks, 6 pass deflections. He hasn't been in the league that long, but definitely a down season. Fighters are, I think, 1st place in the AFC South or the AFC North right now. If Charlie can, play a little bit better, I'm sure they will sustain that spot. So shout out to Charlie Wicker and the Louisville Fighters. North Carolina Flyers are up next. They got 1 subscriber. He is the brother of our quarterback on Tuscaloosa, and that would be Alex Thompson, having a good individual season. But the Flyers, man, they just, even last season, I think they've won 2 games, and we're in week 14, I think. So definitely a tough year, but Alex is playing well though at 2,889 yards, almost 3,000, over a 3-to-1 touchdown interception ratio, 22 TDs to 6 INTs, completing the ball at a high level at 72%, averaging 240 yards per game, good quarterback rating. So I don't think it's on Alex, but I don't know who it's on. Also, he's a pretty good runner too, 46 times carrying the ball for 236 yards, averaging 5.1 yards per carry for 4 touchdowns. So Alex has got the individual stats to back it up. Just the team can't put it together for some reason. But still, shout out to Alex Thompson and the NC Flyers. San Jose Industrials, who we would be playing today. I know you guys are heated about that. I am truly sorry. But, anticipation. It's going to make it all that much better when we play you guys next episode. But Jonathan Taylor, who was submitted by our very own Amari Taylor on Tuscaloosa, having the last couple games have been rough, but his overall season stats aren't really that bad. I mean, 2,788 yards, that's fine. It's not top 10 or anything, but it's serviceable, and also over a 3-to-1 touchdown interception ratio, 22 TDs to 6 picks. It's not bad. Last 2 games have been rough though, completing 71% of his passes and averaging 232 a game. So decent season, I would say, not bad at all. And Grayson Martinez, who just joined a couple episodes ago, he's carried the ball 156 times for 660 yards total, averaging 4.2 yards per carry, and leading the team in touchdowns, rushing touchdowns, that is, with 9. And he averages 55 a game, so pretty good job there. Jonathan Taylor, the QB, he's carried the ball 59 times for 230, averaging 3.9 yards per carry and 2 touchdowns. And receiving, one of our SFL OGs, one of the original members of the series, as a matter of fact, Yeezy Fuentes, second on the team in both receptions and yards, so he's caught 50 passes for 616, averaging 51.3 per game, and tied with Zay Flowers for the most touchdowns on the squad with 7. So nice work there from Yeezy. And then one of the best names in the SFL, 99 rated overall name, we got Hingle McCringleberry, the wide receiver. He's caught 36 passes for 433, averaging 36.1 yards per game and only 1 touchdown. So definitely want to see that number go up for sure. And then Grayson Martinez, the running back, caught 35 passes for 392 yards, averaging 32.7 yards per game and also 3 touchdowns as well. So pretty good work there. Defensively, we got a few. Josh Pickney, the corner, he has 51 tackles so far on the season, 2 TFLs, a half a sack. Okay. No picks though. Definitely as a corner, you want to get some for sure. But 2 pass deflections. So, a decent job there. Like the backfield pressure for sure. And Dominic Marinai playing decently. He's got 48 tackles, the defensive tackle, 8 TFLs. That's a good number for sure. And also 1 sack as well. And I think that we're missing somebody here. Question mark? No, we are not. Had to check the handy dandy Discord, and I'm telling you, if you're not in it, join it. It's fun. It's a good time. But shout out to all the subscribers on the San Jose Industrials. We will be seeing y'all in the next episode. Las Vegas Jacks. Oh, man. Kind of like the North Carolina Flyers. They have just had back-to-back rough seasons. I don't know what it is. Quarterback Drew Vincent, he was stripped of all his weapons because we had a bunch of subscribers on the Jacks and they requested a trade before the trade deadline. But even before that, it was still tough sailing or tough sledding in Vegas, and a rough season for Drew so far. Still time to turn it around. Nobody is mathematically eliminated from the playoffs, but only 2,003 yards here for Drew. More interceptions than touchdowns. Never a stat that you want to see. 11 touchdowns to 14 picks, and averaging 166.9 yards per game with a 63% completion rate. Yeah, definitely got to turn that around. And I mean, am I seeing these? Okay, I am very confused here. This is why the Jacks are not doing good. Drew Vincent is their leading rusher as a quarterback. I mean, I didn't click a button wrong, did I? Well, I mean, they had a running back and I traded him, so that would explain that. But still, like, somebody should have more, I feel like. And Drew has ran the ball 51 times for 211, averaging 4.1 yards per carry and a touchdown. But A.J. Dillon, Raheem Mostert, like, those chaps got to step up and shoulder some of the load. So a tough season, but still time to turn it around. And shout out to Drew Vincent and the Las Vegas Jacks. Grand Rapids Lightning, best team in the NFC North. They got some weapons you're about to see. Quarterback Lucas Spicer, one of the best in the business at 3,094 yards, having a great season, and over a 3-to-1 touchdown interception ratio, 22 touchdowns to 7 picks. You love to see that. And completing 72% of his passes, averaging 257.8 yards per game. So really nice work there from Lucas, and he's also ran the ball 58 times for 272 and a touchdown. Nice work there. And Floyd Butler, who you're about to see in a minute, probably crushing it. He's also ran the ball 4 times for 8 yards, no touchdowns though. But receiving wise, yeah, Floyd Butler is balling out this season. One of the best wide receivers in the SFL. He's caught 77 passes and has 1,106 yards, both top on the team, and also 12 touchdowns, also top on the team, averaging almost 100 yards per game. So Floyd Butler is an absolute weapon. Lightning in a bottle, some might even say. Sorry. Bruh. And then Jarek Smith, I guess because they got Sam Laporta, maybe I should switch it around, but Laporta's playing good though. But yeah, Jarek Smith, they just don't get him involved a whole ton. 6 catches, 86 yards, no touchdowns. But maybe, I don't know, maybe I'll shuffle some things around and move Laporta around, maybe that'll help. But we also do got one defender here, and that would be Mark Frazier, the cornerback. So just joined a few episodes ago. 32 tackles, 1 TFL, no sacks, and an interception, and 9 pass deflections. So decent stats there. The pick I love, and leading the team in pass deflections. So shout out to all the subscribers on the Grand Rapid Lightning, right now leader in the NFC North. Portland Lobsters, who have also become one of the most popular teams in the SFL. They did not have any subscribers for the longest, and then all of a sudden they just got a huge influx of them. And also one of our 6 channel members here, got to shout out Tito Flames, the QB. Now, stats might not look good, but I forget who he took over. Baker Mayfield, I want to say. Before he became an X Factor, I think Baker Mayfield was just having a tough season. So I look to see these numbers go up from Tito. But currently, as it stands, 2,675 yards on the season, 19 touchdowns to 13 picks. Not the best, but I'm sure that number will improve. And completing 64% of his passes, averaging 222.9 yards per game. Running back Rudy Chaves, just an okay season. I'm not sure how long he's been in the league or who he replaced, but 140 attempts for 488, 3.5 yards per carry average, not really that great. Aww. 4 touchdowns, definitely could be more. And then, I mean, QB Tito Flames almost like getting really close to his stats. Carried the ball 76 times. For a quarterback, that is a lot. And has 303 yards on the season and also 3 touchdowns. Wide receiver, though, Cam Williams, he is doing his thing. Second place on the team, tied for it, actually, in terms of receptions. He's caught 51 passes and leading the team in yards at 785. So nice work there, averaging 65.4 yards per game, and second place as well in touchdowns on the team with 5. So really nice work. And then superstar development tight end here, Rob Blames, has caught 45 passes for 468, averaging 39 a game and only 1 touchdown. But again, ever since he, I think now that he's a superstar development guy, that you'll probably see those numbers go up. I would certainly imagine Middle linebacker Drake Bowen having a good season, though, leading the team in tackles with 73 and also 3 TFLs. Definitely love to see that. And a sack and 11 pass deflections as a middle linebacker. He is a field general there if I've ever seen one. So really nice work there. And I remember when we played him, Drake had like 13, 14 tackles. So yeah, he's all over the place for sure. And then Cletus Ray, the cornerback, second place on the team in tackles with 67, also 1 TFL and 2 interceptions to go along with 7 pass deflections. So really good work here by the subscriber defenders here on the Portland Lobsters. And then you cannot forget the kicker, Kaboom Stick 3. Love the name for a kicker. He has only missed 1 field goal on the season, 17 for 18, 94%. His longest field goal is a 54-yarder. And he is also perfect on extra points. So really good kicker, and it shows in the stats. So shout out to all these subscribers on the Portland Lobsters over in the AFC East. Got to give a big shout out to quarterback Nick Snow. Gave us a really, really tough time last week as the Manatees beat us in a thriller. And if the way that Nick Snow played last week is any indication on how his SFL career is going to go, I mean, buckle your seatbelts. We got a star on our hands for sure. But 2,784 yards so far on the season, 24 touchdowns to 10 picks. So a good ratio there, completing 68% of his passes and averaging 214 yards per game. But like I said, he may have had his breakout game last season. So watch the freak out. That's all I'm going to say. And also as a QB, running 41 times for 164 yards and 2 touchdowns. So nice work there. Lex Rose, who just joined today, I forget who he took over, but has 4 rushing attempts for 21 yards and no touchdowns so far. And as a receiver, Lex Rose has caught 44 passes for 504 yards, which is good for 4th place on the team, averaging 38.8 yards per carry, and also has caught 3 touchdowns. But now that he's a new subscriber wide receiver, I imagine that he will be making some noise here in the episodes to come. Tank Mason, the middle linebacker who just joined today, about 30 minutes ago, depending on the time of this video. Second place on the team in tackles with 86. Really nice work. Also got 2 TFLs, 2 sacks, an INT, and most pass deflections on the team with 10. So he is a stat sheet stuffer if I've ever seen one. Safety W Mans, who had a big-time interception in the game against us, his first of the year, as a matter of fact. He's got 51 tackles, 3 TFLs, a half a sack, that INT that came against us, and also 3 pass deflections as well. Manatees are back into the playoff race, so nice work there. And a shout out to all the subscribers on the St. Pete Manatees. Milwaukee Motors currently 2nd place in the NFC North. They got one of the better QBs in the league in terms of yardage, Cooper Fox. He's got 3,226 yards. So maybe we'll see shortly, but top 3, I want to say, top 4, definitely top 5. So having a really good season, 23 touchdowns to 9 picks. So pretty good ratio there as well, completing 71% of his passes and averaging 268.8 yards per game. So really nice work for Cooper. Crab Kingsley, not having the best season. You know, it's been tough sledding, but the Motors still got a good record, so I'm sure it's only a matter of time. 135 attempts, 494 yards. Yards per carry, 3.7, not the best in the world. 7 touchdowns is good, though, so he is at least finding the end zone at a high rate and averaging 41 yards per game, 1 fumble as well. And then Cooper Fox as a quarterback, 48 rushing attempts, a $172, and also 2 touchdowns. And then receiver DeMar DeRozan has also ran 1 time for 6. Receiving, we got some good ones here. DeMar DeRozan, 2nd place on the team in receptions at 64, but 1st place in terms of yards with 847. He had an amazing game last week. Stats are always at the end of the video. Just if you're new and wondering what's going on here, I play my game, and then at the end, I recap all the subscriber stats for the week. So DeMar DeRozan crushed it last week. He's averaging 70.6 yards a game and leading the team in TDs with 10. So really nice work. And then kind of flip-flop stats here. Sam Fox, 1st place on the team in catches with 65, and 2nd place in receptions at 739, averaging 61.6 yards per game and 4 touchdowns. So nice work there from the wide receiver 1 and 2. Crab Kingsley, the halfback, 23 catches for 235 and also a touchdown as well. And then Steven Carlson, real live tight end in real life, also tight end here on the Motors. He's their second tight end behind Goddard, so kind of like Jarek Smith on the Lightning, not always utilized, but 13 catches for 165, averaging 13.8 yards per game and a touchdown. We also got an offensive lineman here as well, and it doesn't really look that great. Yeah, Bobby Boulder and even Jack Conklin's a good lineman. They lead the team in sacks allowed. Okay, maybe that was from before Bobby Boulder took over, but definitely want to, especially you're the left tackle, you're protecting the blind side, definitely don't want to be allowing that many sacks, but we'll just chalk it up to those sacks were allowed, before Bobby Boulder joined from whoever he took over.
Okay.
And we got 4 defenders here. So Ace Hondo up first, the strong safety. He's got 52 tackles, 3 TFLs, and a half a sack to go. No interceptions, though. That kind of sucks, but 4 pass deflections. So at least that's a little bit of a silver lining, I suppose. Iron Fox, the corner, and we have everybody on the Milwaukee Motors are 7-footers. This team is stacked, but 37 tackles, 3 TFLs, no sacks, no picks, and only 1 pass deflection, but he hasn't been in the league that long, so I'm sure those numbers will rise. And then we got Daedric Valentine here, 29 tackles as a D tackle, 6 TFLs, that's not bad, and also a half a sack. And then also linebacker Jazz Fox here, 21 tackles, 3 TFLs, no picks, no sacks, no picks, so definitely, but he also hasn't been in the league that long either, so I'm sure those numbers will pick up. But shout out to all the subscribers here on the Milwaukee Motors in the NFC North. Montana Mountain Lions over in the AFC West, they got another one of the better QBs in the league, also one of the better names too, McDonald's 10-piece, and he is throwing some darts here in Montana, 3,001 yards, 23 touchdowns to 11 picks, so a decent touchdown interception ratio, completing 66% of his passes, averaging 250 a game. So pretty good stats there, I would say, for sure. Halfback Caleb Small having a good season, 169 attempts, 711 yards total, averaging 4.2 per carry, leading the team and one of the better in the whole SFL, actually, in rushing touchdowns with 9, averaging 59.3 yards per game and only 1 fumble. So really nice season there by Caleb. And then McDonald's 10-piece, the QB, 66 carries for 272 and also 2 touchdowns as a quarterback. And then wide receiver Christian Bangle has ran 9 times for 11 yards. Receiving, we got several here. So Christian Bangle, Chris Godwin, as a matter of fact, killing it in yards and touchdowns. Wow, got to shout him out for sure. But Christian Bangle caught 58 passes for 651, averaging 54.3 yards per game and a touchdown. And tight end Gavin Goat here also having a pretty solid season as a tight end, caught 52 passes, 626 yards on the season, averaging 52.2 yards per game and 5 tutties. Ajante Lee, too, who just joined, I believe last episode or maybe 2, I'm not sure. But he's got 52 receptions for 537, averaging 44.8 yards per game and also 3 touchdowns as well. And then Caleb Small, the halfback, 12 catches for 55 yards and no touchdowns so far on the season. Defensively, Augustine Miser is one of the top leaders in tackles in the SFL. 95 tackles, so doing a great job from his middle linebacker position. 4 TFLs, a sack, a pick, 5 pass deflections. He is just a stat sheet stuffer if I've ever seen one. Jacob Miser, the linebacker, having an okay season as well. 56 tackles, 4 TFLs, no sacks, but 3 interceptions. Okay, having a great season. I take that back. 3 picks as a linebacker, that's best on the team. And also 7 pass deflections, so a really good coverage linebacker there for sure. Hudson Dean Miser, the corner, has 46 tackles, 1 TFL, no picks, and no pass deflections. Wow, that's interesting for sure. Got to get some of those, no doubt. And then King Lay, the strong safety, 40 tackles, 3 TFLs, no sacks, no interceptions, and also 3 pass deflections. And last but not least here, Tavarius Lee, who also just joined recently, the other linebacker, 18 tackles, 1 INT. That's good. And also a pass deflection. I believe that is it. That is. So yeah, shout out to the Montana Mountain Lions having a pretty solid season, and shout out to all the subscribers on their team. Dakota Pronghorns, they're a strange one because their record isn't great. I believe they're last place in the NFC North, but they got, stat-wise, one of the better quarterbacks in the league at Gianni Cortese. So I don't know. It's kind of like, what was the other team? The Flyers. Like, really good stats, but just the record is not there. Gianni has 3,085 yards on the season, 25 touchdowns to 7 INTs, so over a 3-to-1 ratio.
Yes.
71% completion, and one of the best in yards per game, averaging 257.1 yards per game. He is definitely doing his thing. Maybe it's the running game. Maybe this is why their record isn't that good. Caleb King having a tough season, has ran the ball 171 times, 567 yards, only averaging 3.3 per carry. 1 touchdown, so a rough season for sure. Got to get the running game going. Also a fumble in there too. And Gianni Cortese as a rusher, 47 yards for 201, and also a touchdown. So like this guy, Britton Peel, not even a subscriber. He's their leading rusher in terms of touchdowns. So I don't know. It's a strange thing. Caleb King also 14 catches for 84 yards and no touchdowns. So shout out to our 2 wide receivers on the Dakota Pronghorns. Time to turn that season around. Rochester Rebels in the NFC East having a really good season. Believe they are first place now in that division, above the Fort Worth Rough Riders. But we got Vanilla Vic. Love the name. It's a nod to the YouTuber Bangle. I'm sure if you're watching my channel, you probably know who Bangle is. So I love this entry here. Good season too. 3,074 yards. He replaced Kirk Cousins a couple episodes ago. Touchdown interception ratio, though, not as good. 19 touchdowns to 11 picks. So definitely got to clean that up if they want to keep that number 1 spot in the NFC East. Good completion, though, at 71%, and also a good yards per game average at 256. So nice work there by Mr. V. Vic, and not really being a vanilla Vic, but again, he was Kirk Cousins for a majority of this season, so you got to give him time to get those rushing yards up. Kirko, not really the best runner, but Vanilla Vic, 75 carries, 279, averaging 3.7 yards per game and 3 touchdowns. Got to get some more subs here on the Rebels too, so join up, guys. Drop those comments if you don't already have 2 entries, okay? And shout out to Vanilla Vic and the Rochester Rebels. Number 1 seed in the AFC, and of course, best team in the AFC East. And it's like a conundrum, man. Like Chase Kaiser is not, stat-wise, nothing crazy, but their record is amazing. That just goes to show you football is the ultimate team sport. Like everybody has to be doing their part. But Chase, kind of low on the yards, 2,348. That's, nowhere near the top, probably 15, I would say. But a good touchdown interception ratio, over 2-to-1, which is always, like, in my opinion, the benchmark that you want to shoot for. 26 touchdowns to 12 picks, 66% completion, and averaging 195.7 yards per game, so sub 200. And as a rusher, Chase has ran the ball 53 times for 243 and also a touchdown. Zane Wolf, who just joined last episode as well, second place on the team in both receptions and yards. So he's caught 41 passes from Kaiser and 466 yards on the season. He averages 38.8 yards per game, but number 1, first place on the team in touchdowns at 6. So really nice work there from Zane. And then we also have one receiver who just joined about 45 minutes ago, depending on how many cuts I've done in this video. Mark Dixon, he has 47 tackles on the season. No TFLs, no sacks, but 2 interceptions, and tied for first place on the team in pass deflections. And I'm sure now that he's a subscriber and not whoever he replaced, I'm sure he's going to do even better. So shout out to my 3 subscribers on the number 1 seeded Providence Red Raiders. Roswell Revolution, one of my favorite teams that I created. That logo is fire with the Roswell, alien. And Noah Acro is having an okay season in terms of yards. I see his touchdown INT ratio is phenomenal, but 2,478 yards on the season, but 27 touchdowns to 5 interceptions, over a 5-to-1 touchdown interception ratio. Very efficient with the football and completing 67% of his passes. Only averaging 206 yards per game, but like I said, very, Very, very efficient. And as a runner, he's carried the ball 59 times for 234 and also a touchdown on the season as well. And then receiving, we got a couple here. BT Taylor having a really good season. 56 catches, first place on the team. 708 yards, also first place on the team. Averaging 59 yards per game, first place on the team. And 10 touchdowns, first place on the team. And then Willie Lloyd Jr., the slot wide receiver, who just joined a couple episodes ago as well. Been playing good since he took over whomever he took over. So 26 catches for 238 yards, averaging 19.8 per game. And I do think that both touchdowns came after he became a subscriber player. So that is definitely good to see. Got 4 defenders here on the Revolution. Eli Acro, brother of the QB, Noah Acro. Good season, 50 tackles, but 8 tackles for loss. That's second place on the team. 3.5 sacks per game. That is second place on the team. You'll see who's first here in a minute. Also 1 INT and 2 pass deflections as well. Jameer Juice, the cornerback, he's got 44 tackles, 2 TFLs, and an interception and 3 pass deflections. But then we got one of the better subscriber defenders here in the SFL, Gio Cruz, the defensive end, 36 tackles, but 10 tackles for loss and 6 sacks. That is some really, really good stats if I've ever seen them. And we actually got 3 subscribers. Okay, sorry, I thought there was 4 defenders, but had to reference the Discord. But yeah, Gio Cruz playing out of his mind, an alien, some may even say. But shout out to all the subscribers here on the Roswell Revolution in the NFC West. Boulder Rockies, who are currently first place in the AFC South, they've lost a couple in a row, but I believe they did have a really good bounce back win last episode. And Lucas Thomas, the QB, always playing well. 2,987 yards on the season, so he's going to crack 300 next episode, you would think. I mean, definitely, right? 27 touchdowns to 7 interceptions, so a good ratio. 69% pass completion, a phenomenal completion rate, and averaging 248.9 yards per game. AJ Hance, the halfback, one of the better, I would say, in the SFL. Again, like, no one's at 1,000 yards yet. The tops are in the 900s. So AJ, he's right there. 167 attempts so far for 796 yards, averaging nearly 5 yards per carry at 4.8. 8 touchdowns, best on the team, and averaging 66.3 rushing yards per game, but no fumbles. Yeah, AJ Hance is playing some great football.
Well done.
And then Lucas Thomas, always a rushing QB, 70 attempts so far on the ground for 245 yards, but 5 touchdowns as a quarterback, always getting it done on the ground. And then wide receiver Austin Lucas has carried the ball 1 time for 8 yards. But receiving, Austin Lucas is, again, having another subscriber having a really good season. First place on the team in terms of receptions at 72, 792 yards on the season. Again, like 1,100-ish is the tops on the SFL. Austin averages 66 yards per game and has also caught 4 touchdown passes. And then defensively, we got AJ Hall, the middle linebacker, 62 tackles. That is best on the team. 2 TFLs, a sack and a half, and an INT, and 5 pass deflections, tied for best on the team. So kind of a stat sheet stuffer here. But yeah, shout out to all the subscribers on the first place Boulder Rockies over in the AFC South. Fort Worth Rough Riders, for the longest time, they were the best team in the SFL. Still doing good, still in the playoffs, but not the best team, any longer. And they got 1 subscriber, so come on, new subscribers, go ahead, join the Fort Worth Rough Riders if you want to. They're a good football team, and led by quarterback Devin Fry here, 2,622 yards on the season, basically 4-to-1 over, a 4-to-1 touchdown interception ratio, 25 touchdowns to 6 interceptions. That is efficient, completing 67% of his passes and averaging 218.5 yards per game. And again, like, these quarterbacks are just running out of their mind, man. Devin Fry has carried the ball 88 times as a running back. Like, that's like half of what David Montgomery has, and he's their running back workhorse. But Devin, 301 yards on the ground, and also tied with Montgomery for 4 touchdowns. So yeah, shout out to Devin Fry and the Fort Worth Rough Riders. Need some more subscribers on this team. Let's get those entries going down below. St. Louis Sentinels also in the NFC East, and they are hanging on by a thread in the playoffs. Might be the 7th seed, or we'll see here shortly. But Ashton Saber having an okay season. Nothing really too crazy. 2,645 yards total, 17 touchdowns, 10 INTs, so not the best touchdown interception ratio. Efficient, though, with 72% completion and averages 203 yards per game. So just kind of like middle tier, right? Same with Dyson Frederick, the running back. Like nothing crazy, 188 carries, 644 yards, averaging 3.4 yards per carry. That's not great. 7 touchdowns is good, though. No fumbles is good. And also averaging 49.5 yards per game. And again, like QB Ashton Saber, 79 attempts as a quarterback for 337. No touchdowns, though. But yeah, quarterbacks just doing all kinds of running in this series. Dyson Frederick as a halfback, 21 carries for $114. Also a receiving touchdown in there as well. So you definitely like to see that. And then we have one subscriber defender here, Jalen Valentine, defensive end. 22 tackles plus 7 TFLs, best on the team, I believe. No, second best, I'm sorry, behind Jalen Carter, which is good company to be in. But 7 TFLs and also 2 sacks and a pass deflection. So nice work there from Jalen. And a shout out to all my subscribers here on the St. Louis Sentinels. Sacramento Sharks right on the edge of playoff contention, a couple wins in a row, and they will probably get there. And they got tons of subscribers, a whole family of subscribers going on here, led by quarterback Rico Johnson, who's having a good season. 2,934 yards so far on the season, 23 touchdowns to 10 interceptions, pretty efficient, completing 67% of his passes, also pretty efficient, and averaging 244.5 yards per game. So that is really, really good. Halfback here, Liz Marlowe, Miss Liz Marlowe.
I am woman, hear me roar.
Like I said, ladies, welcome here in the SFL. Attempted 144 rushes for 574 yards, averaging 4 yards per carry and 6 touchdowns, best on the team. And she is averaging 47.5 yards per game. Rico Johnson, the QB, 55 rushes for 222 and also a touchdown as well. And then Harley K's, they're kind of a dual threat running back room here. Harley being the halfback number 2, the power back. 43 rushes for $158, averaging 3.7 yards per carry and a touchdown as well. And then wide receiver Traquan O'Neal, he's carried the ball 5 times for 19 yards. Gerald Cole as the wide receiver number 1, having a good season, 46 receptions. So that's like 4th place on the team, but the most yards at 753. He averages 62.8 yards per game and leading the team in touchdowns with 10. So real nice work there from Gerald. Tight end Lonnie Marlowe, 57 catches, that's best on the team, and 635 yards, second best. He averages 52.9 yards per game, and he's got 3 touchdowns. Hope K's, the wide receiver, has 53 catches for 625, and she averages 52.1 yards per game with 4 touchdowns. Traquan O'Neal, 48 catches for 586, averaging 48.8, and he's also got 4 touchdowns on the season. And then we got Liz Marlowe, the halfback, 16 catches, $121, no touchdowns though for her. And then Harley K's has 6 receptions for 29 yards. And defensively, we got a ton here, led by middle linebacker Dean Miser. He's got 95 tackles, which is also up there. I think like 111 might be the top in the SFL, something like that. So he is up there. Also 7 TFLs, 2 sacks, that's awesome, and 9 pass deflections as a middle linebacker. You will definitely take that. Cornerback Paige Miser has 56 tackles, 3 TFLs, and also 2 interceptions. That's great to see, to go along with 3 pass deflections. Strong safety Billy Bob Joe, 50 tackles, 2 TFLs, no sacks, but does have an interception on the year, and also 7 pass deflections, so that is good for a second place on the team. Roger Miser, the elder statesman here on the team, 42 tackles. He's got no TFLs, no sacks though. Does have 1 interception, so that's awesome to see. And also 3 pass deflections. Megalodon, the right outside linebacker, he's got 30 tackles to go along with, 34 tackles, my apologies, to go along with 2 TFLs and 2 sacks. So doing some work there in the backfield. And then the conductor, the orchestrator of this whole entire operation that we have going on in Sacramento. Got to give a big shout out to one of our channel members here, Blake Miser, doing really good, 33 tackles, but second place on the team, only behind TJ Watt. So again, like, that's good company to be in, and this is what the X Factor Dev will get you: 2 TFLs, 3 sacks, and also a pass deflection from his defensive end spot. Easton Dwayne Marlowe, the D tackles, got 30 tackles on the season, 5 TFLs, and also 3 sacks. That is great to see. Ali Miser, the cornerback, 23 tackles, 1 TFL, and also an interception to go along with 3 pass deflections. So nice work seeing those pass breakups. Always love to see that from your corners. Defensive end Christina Marlowe has 21 tackles, 5 TFLs, and 5.5 sacks. She is putting in some work there, playing opposite side of Blake Miser, also 1 pass deflection too. So really nice work. And then defensive tackle Bruce Jaws doing some work here on the Sharks, 21 tackles, 4 TFLs, and 3.5 sacks. I believe that is it. That is it. So yeah, whole family of subscribers here, all organized by Blake Miser. And shout out to all the subscribers here on the Sacramento Sharks. Topeka Silverbacks in the AFC South kind of having a tough season as well. Believe they're at 2 or 3 wins on the year. Now, Kyrie Brooks doing pretty good in terms of yards, 3,107. But the touchdown interception ratio is kind of starting to diminish a little bit. 21 touchdowns, 19 picks. Gotta lower those picks. That's like me on the sticks, like just chucking picks. So gotta lower that. Completing 62% of his passes. A good yards per game average, though, at 258.9. So he is definitely slinging the rock downfield for sure. And then rushing the ball here, Vayro Brooks, 614 yards, 5 touchdowns. So that's pretty good. Averaging 3.8 yards per carry. That's a little bit low. And averaging 51.2 yards per game. Also a fumble in there as well. And then Kyrie has ran the ball 47 times for $165 and no touchdowns. And then receiving wise, running back Vayro Brooks has caught 32 passes from Kyrie with the Brooks to Brooks connection, 224 yards and no touchdowns. So Silverbacks Nation kind of struggling, but still time to turn it around. And shout out to the Brooks Bros and the Topeka Silverbacks. We got 3 subscribers on the Massachusetts Smithies in the AFC East. Now, these stats will be a bit skewed. Normally I would replace Jaden. Oh, I know what it is. So Silas Vaden was a defensive tackle on our team, the Terminators, and I traded him to the Smithies. So like, that's why you see Jaden Daniels poached some of the stats. So it's not going to be accurate. But Silas with 1,424 yards on the season. That's about 5 games worth, maybe, I want to say. 9 touchdowns and 7 INTs. So gotta definitely clean up the touchdown interception ratio. 64% completion and averaging 178 yards per game. Rushing the ball, Jax Vaden, same deal. He was a linebacker on our team, and the Vaden Bros said, we want out of Tuscaloosa. We want to go to a different team. So I traded him. And so not a full season worth of stats, but Jax, 84 attempts, 341, averaging 4.1 yards per carry. No touchdowns yet as a Smithy, and averaging 48.7 yards per game. And then Silas Vaden as a QB, 27 attempts, $129, and he's got 2 rushing touchdowns though. So, nice work there. And then we got 1 subscriber defender here, safety Ishmael Balog, 41 tackles, 1 TFL, a half a sack, 2 interceptions. I do like to see that. And also a pass deflection too. So shout out to my 3 subscribers here on the Massachusetts Smithies in the AFC East. Juneau Snow Owls also having a tough season, but their quarterback Caleb Busco he's up there in terms of yards and touchdown. Was top 5 for a while. Not sure if he still is, but having a great season. I mean, 3,203 yards. That's up there. 29 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, so a good touchdown interception ratio for him, completing 68% of his passes, and a good yards per game average at 246. Unfortunately, the Snow Owls, just the record doesn't reflect that. And as a rusher, 40 attempts for 159, and also 3 touchdowns on the year. When we played Caleb Fusco, he played really, really good. We did beat him, but I feel like he gave us a run for our money. So shout out to Caleb Fusco. Got to get some more subscribers on the Juneau Snow Owls. Drop them in the comments, and a shout out to Caleb Fusco and the Juneau Snow Owls. Savannah Spirits are arch rivals in our division, the NFC South, and subscribers everywhere you look. And the front runner right now, I believe, for MVP, just like he was up there last season. I think he finished second in the voting behind Lamar Jackson. Not even a subscriber took the crown. But Caleb always playing good, 3,039 yards, 34 touchdowns to only 4 interceptions. Like, that's vintage Aaron Rodgers numbers right there. Like, I mean, what are we talking about? Come on now. He's killing it. Daniel Banks carried the ball 165 times for 774 yards, averaging 4.7 yards per carry. That's pretty good. 2 touchdowns, 1 fumble, and averaging 64.5 yards per game. So nice work there from Daniel. And then Caleb has ran the ball 43 times for $186, averaging 4.3 yards per carry, a touchdown, and pretty good, as a running back. Receiving, we got tight end Dallas Bolton, who killed it when we played the Spirits. Like, he was just tearing it up, leading the team in receptions at 70 and 646 yards on the season. That's really good, and averaging 53.8 yards per game with 5 touchdowns. Also, Elijah Moore, 14 touchdowns. That is absolutely ridiculous from Elijah freaking Moore. But okay, I'll take it. DeAndre Smith has caught 65 passes for 645, averaging 53.8, so the exact same number as Dallas Bolton. That's kind of weird. And also 6 touchdowns. So second place on the team in touchdowns for DeAndre. George Smith has caught 48 passes for 591, averaging 49.3 yards per game and 5 touchdowns. And then a running back, Daniel Banks here, 25 receptions for 188. And he does not have any touchdowns yet, though, on the season. Fuck! And defensively, we got subs all over the place here. Middle linebacker Cam O'Shea, the captain, the anchor on this defense here, 75 tackles, 3 TFLs, no sacks or INTs. He had a ton of those last season, so a bit of a sophomore slump, I suppose. 6 pass deflections, though. That is good. Strong safety Adrian Mew III has 56 tackles, but no TFL sacks or interceptions. Got to get some of those as a strong safety. Does have 5 pass deflections, though. Trustin Smith Jr., the corner, has 49 tackles, a TFL, a half a sack, 2 INTs, and 3 pass deflections, so that's pretty good. And then linebacker Jaden Hayes, they do run the 3-4 set, 46 tackles, 2 TFLs, no sacks, an INT, and 3 pass deflections. Give it up for my man D Ford. Yes, the real D Ford, who was in the NFL previously, just killing it. 45 tackles, 12 TFLs, and 10 sacks. Double digits in both categories. And oh look, a pass deflection for his troubles. Like, D Ford is putting in work. And so is Jackson Prime, the cornerback. 39 tackles, no TFLs, no sacks, but 4 interceptions. He is up there amongst the league leaders, and also leading the team in pass deflections too with 7. Grayson Miser, the linebacker, 35 tackles, 2 TFLs, 3.5 sacks, and 2 pass deflections. Avery Miser, the linebacker on the other side, 34 tackles, 5 TFLs, and 4 sacks. So nice pressure in the backfield by the Misers here. Also 3 pass deflections as well. JJ Miser, the defensive tackle, 28 tackles, 9 TFLs. That is good for second place on the team. So really nice pressure there, and 5.5 sacks. I'm sorry. No, I apologize. 2.5 sacks. So putting in some work there in the backfield. Jessica Miser has 5.5 sacks to go along with 5 tackles or 5 TFLs and 24 tackles. So yeah, just a lot of pressure in the backfield for sure. And then we did just add a defensive tackle, Mike La Madrid, but I just changed him over, so no stats yet. But he will have some stats next episode. So yeah, shout out to all the subscribers on our division rival, Savannah Spirits, in the NFC South. Clap it up for the best team in the SFL record-wise. Even though we beat them this season, they got a better record than us. The Salem Steelhawks in the NFC West, led by quarterback Cameron Moore, 3,149 yards, 31 touchdowns to 8 interceptions. Just absolutely killing it, completing 74% of his passes and averaging 262.4 yards per carry. Dare I say MVP level numbers. And speaking of MVP level numbers, we got one of the best halfbacks in the SFL. Subscriber Ian Taliercio, 198 carries, almost 1,000 yards at 928. He's got to be top 2 or 3, averaging 4.7 yards per carry, 10 touchdowns, and averaging 77.3 yards per game. 1 fumble as well. But Ian is definitely putting in some work here. Quarterback Cameron Moore has carried the ball 45 times for 178, 4 yards per carry average, and also 1 touchdown as well. And receivers, we got a couple here. JJ Redd, the wide receiver, doing some good things. 58 catches, 711 yards. You might say he's always open like a 7-Eleven, 24/7, sending opposing DBs to heaven. I know I got mad bars.
He's good.
But anyways, 59.3 yards per carry or per reception per game, and also 4 touchdowns. And then tight end Joe Uno caught 43 passes so far for 407 yards, averaging 33.9 yards per game. But second place on the team in touchdowns with 6. That's awesome to see. And then halfback Ian Taliercio, 24 receptions for 220 yards and also 2 touchdowns as a pass catcher. And what's up with subscriber tackles? Like, we only got a couple, and I feel like they're all allowing a lot of sacks. But it could be whoever they were before. I really don't know. I mean, in fairness, Joe Alt's given up 6, but Jerry Tress, the left tackle, has allowed 7 sacks. So you never like to see that, but I mean, it is what it is. Defensively, we got several here. Carl Snaggs, the strong safety, 47 tackles, but so far, no TFLs, no sacks, no picks. Got to get some of those if the Steelhawks want to retain that number 1 status. Three pass deflections, though, so there is something going on there. Cornerback Daniel THG, 43 tackles, and also 1 interception to go along with 4 pass deflections. So some good things to like there. Not Oreo, always in the backfield, 27 tackles, not a lot of sacks with 1.5, but 10 TFLs. And a forced fumble I see there too. So, and 3 fumble recoveries. Wow, yeah, Not Oreo is always on his game and always doing some good things back there in the backfield. And then It's Oreo, the brother, 20 tackles, 6 TFLs, and 4 sacks. The Oreo bros are definitely doing their thing. Defensive tackle Hayden Zeig has 15 tackles, but 3 TFLs and also 4 sacks. So, like, the Steelhawks, I mean, they got weapons for days on the offense, weapons for days on the defense. How do you stop them? I don't know. And shout out to all my subscribers on the Salem Steelhawks. Akron Summit's my team that I play with on my other series. Go check that out if you haven't. That's a full-length franchise. They are in the playoffs, barely, at the 7th seed, I believe. And I mean, Dragon Zetron, like, not having a good season, but for some reason, they're playing well as a team. Like, there is something to that. Football is the ultimate team sport. But Dragon, 2,287 yards on the season, but 12 touchdowns to 10 INTs. Like, that's not anything to write home about. Completing 66% of his passes and averaging sub 200 at 190.6 per game. But like I said, they are in the playoffs currently. And Dragon has also carried the ball 56 times for 255 and also 2 touchdowns on the ground. So got to get some more subscribers here on the Akron Summits. Put those entries down there on the comments, and a shout out to Dragon Zetron and the Akron Summits. Memphis Suns, they are, I think, in the playoffs. Maybe they're like the 5th or the 6th seed. But Nick Strickland playing good. 2,911 yards, 19 touchdowns to 9 picks, so a good ratio, 61% completion, and averaging 242.6 yards per game. So nice job there from Nick. And also as a rusher, 80 attempts for 318, and also 4 touchdowns on the ground. So nice work there. Miguel Guerrero, the wide receiver, 10 attempts for 38 yards, no touchdowns, but still getting a lot of action in the backfield as a rusher. And then receiving wise, they got Devontae Adams, who's one of the best in the business. But Miguel Guerrero, the subscriber, caught 62 passes for 648 yards, averaging 54 yards per game, but only 1 touchdown. Gotta find pay dirt a few more times if the Suns want to continue being a force in the AFC South. But a shout out to my 2 subscribers on the Memphis Suns in the AFC South. Toronto Thunderbirds in the NFC North. They started out a little shaky, but they have picked it up as of late. And they are trying to fight and claw their way back into the playoffs, led by quarterback Jordan Baker here, 2,520 yards on the season, 21 touchdowns to 9 picks, so a pretty good ratio, 70% completion, a really efficient completion rate. And he also averages 210 yards per game, so a nice work there by Jordan Baker. And also on the ground, 49 attempts for 226, and also 3 touchdowns on the ground as a rusher. Nice work. And then receiver Barnaby Hunt has also ran 5 times for 15. And receiving wise, we got Barnaby Hunt here, pretty much equal to Stephon Diggs. Like, actually, that's crazy. Like, almost in everything, almost identical stats. And that's good company to be in. So Barnaby does lead the team in receptions with 59. Second place on the team in yards behind Stephon Diggs at 668. And also second place in yards per game behind Stephon Diggs at 55.7. And then tied for the most touchdowns on the team at 6. But Barnaby has had some rough games, but also some very, very, like, some crazy good games. So he's, you know, definitely been hot and cold, but when he's on, he is on. And then cornerback Hayden Ward-Fair, 40 tackles, 2 TFLs, and an INT to go along with 2 pass deflections. Thunderbirds are very much alive in the playoff push. And shout out to my 3 subscribers here on the Toronto Thunderbirds. And you know, I had to save my team, the Terminators, for last because it's my team, because I love them. I love all the teams, but Drew Thompson crushing it in terms of yards, 3,567, 29 touchdowns to 12 interceptions. This is me. I gotta quit throwing those INTs, but still, 70% completion rate and averaging almost 300 yards per game at 297.3. Drew, he probably won't get the MVP nods because of the interceptions, but he's doing his thing. And then your reigning offensive player of the year, running back J.J. Huntington, 178 carries for 749 yards, averaging 4.2 yards per carry, 12 touchdowns, which may be best in the SFL, and he averages 62.4 yards per game. 2 fumbles, I'm not happy about that, but you know what? It is what it is. And then our power back, Tubby McDouble, just joined a few episodes ago, and I'm so happy to have him back on the team. A Madden 24 SFL OG, 35 attempts for 127, 3.6 yards average, and also 3 touchdowns. And then Drew Thompson, you can see I do not scramble that much with the quarterback. 19 attempts for 49 yards, no touchdowns. Like, Drew is going to be a statue in the pocket. That's all I got to say. Receiving, though, one of the best in the SFL, Jake Powers, 46 receptions for 936 yards, averaging 78 yards per game and 13 touchdowns. He is a 6'8" monster. Speaking of monsters, Scooby McBoomski, our tight end, replaced David Njoku way back in the earlier parts of this season, and all he's done is win, win, win no matter what, leading the team in receptions at 67, 808 yards total, so second place behind Powers, averaging 67.3 yards per game and 5 touchdowns. But this guy right here, do not forget about Ty Huntington. He has the clutch gene for sure. 59 receptions for 741 yards, averaging 61.8 yards per game, and then second place on the team in terms of touchdowns with 8. He is our go-to guy in many a clutch situation. J.J. Huntington, also a force in the passing game, 53 catches as a halfback. That's kind of crazy. 426 yards, averaging 35.5 a game, but no touchdowns yet. Damon Cody, who we did acquire via trade several episodes ago, the superstar X Factor, 30 catches for 406, averaging 33.8 yards per game, and also only 1 touchdown. Gotta help Damon find the end zone. a little bit more, I would say. And then Tubby McDouble, 1 catch for 6 yards, but that 1 catch was for a touchdown. Can't ask for too much more. Our center, Scoot Sanders, should have a touchdown on the season. If you watched the last episode against the Manatees, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But he has only allowed 2 sacks on the season, so pretty good there. Free safety, we have tons of defenders, by the way. So free safety, John Kraft, 62 tackles on the season, 4 TFLs, no sacks, but 3 interceptions. He has been all over the place, intercepting opposing QB's passes, and also 2 pass deflections. Brandon Moore, our strong safety, he's always all over the place, tied with John Kraft with 62 tackles and 7 TFLs. That is second place on the team, I'm seeing. So really happy about that. A sack and a half, 2 INTs as well, and then 2 pass deflections. Jaden Taylor, Tuscaloosa OG here, 53 tackles, 4 TFLs, no sacks, but 2 interceptions and 3 pass deflections. TJ Huntington, the linebacker, 1/3 of the Huntington trio, 48 tackles, 6 TFLs. We got so many TFLs, man. Like you see right here, everybody's getting involved. 6 TFLs, a sack and a half, and also 3 pass deflections. And then Blake Eugene Miser, one of our other superstar X Factors, 32 tackles, 9 TFLs, 4.5 sacks. He's always in the backfield. Won us a game, as a matter of fact, in overtime with a sack. So, you know, that was much appreciated. And also 3 pass deflections from his linebacker position. Cornerback Alex Powers, 32 tackles, no TFLs, no sacks, but 1 interception, and also 2 pass deflections. Middle linebacker Johnny Waters, 32 tackles, 5 TFLs. I love to see that. 1 interception as a middle linebacker. I love to see that. And that was just a couple episodes ago, as a matter of fact. Amari Taylor, the corner, 30 tackles, 1 TFL, a half a sack. No picks as of yet, but 1 pass deflection. Defensive tackle Herbie McMath, the third, 27 tackles, 6 TFLs, 1 sack. And that is it for Herbie. Austin Kringle, another Tuscaloosa OG, 17 tackles, 5 TFLs, 2.5 sacks. So he's starting to kind of pick it up a little bit. Defensive tackle Emerson Rosemiser, 15 tackles, 4 TFLs, a sack, and that is it. McBoomski brother Shaggy here, 15 tackles, 5 TFLs, 2.5 sacks, an interception as a left linebacker. I love it. And also 4 pass deflections. He is playing very good in coverage. And then we got Aiden Leslie, 10 tackles, 2 TFLs, 2 sacks, and a pass deflection as well. And cannot forget about our kicker, Corey Booter. I admittedly am not the best kicker, so that's why you don't see a whole lot of attempts from Corey, but 7 for 8 for 87%. Long is a 45, and I have missed 3 extra points. I am not proud of that, so I'm sorry, Corey, but you're still a great kicker, 88% on the extra points. And a shout out to all my subscribers on your Tuscaloosa Terminators. So we'll take a look at the yearly awards. I'm not going to do top 5 in this episode. It's if you want to see who's top 5, it is in the Discord. So go join the Discord, but this episode's probably going to be a lot longer than I really want it to be. But shout out to Caleb Hayes on the Spirits, leading the charge in MVP votes right now. He was almost there last season. He is doing his thing again. Lucas Thomas on the Rockies, number 2 in MVP. Dominic Young on the Destroyers, number 3. Cameron Moore on the Steelhawks is number 4. Devin Fry on the Rough Riders, 6. We got Mason Buchanan on the Eels, 7th in voting for MVP. Caleb Busco on the Snow Owls is 8. Alex Thompson on the Flyers is 9. And then Noah Acro on the Revolution is number 10. Getting a look at the Offensive Player of the Year in the AFC. Do we have any subscribers leading the pack here? We got Lucas Thomas of the Rockies is 7th, and Dominic Young of the Destroyers right now is 9th. Over in the NFC for Offensive Player of the Year, Floyd Butler, receiver on the Lightning. I told you he is doing his thing this season. Number 1 right now in voting for Offensive Player of the Year. That is awesome to see. Our very own Jake Powers, though, is number 5. Caleb Hayes on the Spirits is number 6. Grayson Martinez, who just joined on the Industrials, is 8. JJ Huntington, also on our team, is number 9. And then DeMar DeRozan, receiver on the Motors, number 10. Defensive player of the year, anybody? I don't see any subscribers, at least not on the AFC side. NFC side, D Ford on the Spirits. I knew it. I knew he was killing it. Double digits in sacks and TFLs. He has second place in voting for Defensive Player of the Year in the NFC. I don't see anybody else, though. We don't oftentimes see a lot of Defensive Player of the Year. Offensive Rookie of the Year, this stat's going to be kind of weird because, like, I just replace whoever with the subscriber entry, so it could be a rookie, it could not be. So, like, this is not a true stat, I guess, but it's still nice to see. Dominic Young in the AFC, number 1 voting right now. Cam Williams on the Lobsters, number 2. Who else? Anybody else here? No. These guys are all just auto-generated guys, so I know who's a subscriber and who's not. Easton Dwayne Marlowe, number 4. That's nice to see. And Tavarius Lee on the Mountain Lions, number 9. Best QB in the NFC, we got Caleb Hayes, Cameron Moore, Devin Farai, Noah Acro, Mason Buchanan, Alex Thompson, Gianni Cortez, okay, Jonathan Taylor, Caleb Fusco, and Drew Thompson all the way down at number 10. Look, I know he's got 12 picks, but, I mean, come on. He's leading the SFL and other stats as well. Over on the AFC, we got Lucas Thomas, Dominic Young, Nick Snow, number 5, Pinky Darts, number 6, Rico Johnson, 7, McDonald's 10-piece, 8, Chase Kaiser, 9, and then Nick Strickland, number 10. Best running back on the NFC side, Ian Taliercio leading the charge. JJ Huntington on Tuscaloosa is number 2. Grayson Martinez, number 3. So nice to see 3 subscribers up there in the NFC side. Bobby Donuts is number 7, and Dyson Frederick on the Sentinels is number 10. Over on the AFC, anybody on the AFC? AJ Hance on the Rockies is number 5. Okay, Caleb Small on the Mountain Lions is number 8. Jackson Hyde on the Coyotes is number 9. So moving on to best wide receiver in the AFC, we got Gerald Cole on the Sharks, Alexander Kleblek on the Destroyers. I love to see that. Blake Altenhofen on the Crocs is 9. And then BT Millie on the Coyotes is number 10. Over on the NFC, Floyd Butler, no surprise there. I figured that would be the case. He's number 1 right now in terms of best wide receiver. And then we also got Jake Powers on our team, number 5. DeMar DeRozan on the Motors is 7. Jeff Burke on the Argonauts is number 8. BT Taylor, number 9. Okay, good work from all the subscriber wide receivers. Best offensive lineman. Doubt we have any subscribers. We got Trent Brown on our team. He's not a subscriber, but I guess that's still a good thing to see. Yeah, no subscribe. We only got a couple subscriber offensive linemen, but nobody there. Best defensive lineman, anybody? I'm sure, I would think D Ford would probably make it. Cody Bricks, okay, number 10 on the Coyotes. Over on the AFC. That's good to see. And yeah, D Ford is number 2 on the Spirits. So really just love to see his performance. Gio Cruz also number 8 on the Revolution. So there you go. Best linebacker over on the NFC. We do not have any subscribers. Okay. On the AFC, anybody on the AFC? We don't have a lot of linebacker defenders. Dean Miser on the Sharks, though. I will certainly take that at number 9. Best DB in the AFC. We got who? Anybody on the AFC? No. I'm sure we're going to have some Spirits, right, on the NFC, I would think. Anyways, yeah. Jackson Prime on the Spirits is number 3. So that is good to see. John Kraft on the Terminators, number 5. Shout out to John Kraft. Very happy about that. And nobody else. And then rounding things off with best kicker. We only got 2 kickers in the SFL. Is anybody on here? Corey Booter is number 6. There you go. Even though I have missed a few kicks with Corey, he is number 6 for the best kicker in the NFC. I will certainly take that. And then Kaboom Stick 3 on the Lobsters, second best kicker right now in the AFC. That's how the yearly awards are shaken up. Like I said, if you want to see top 5, go to the Discord. I got to try to keep this video as short as possible. It's already going to be long, but top 5 league leaders are in the SFL Discord. Link is in the description. And we'll get one quick look at how the playoffs are shaken up before wrapping up this episode. So over on the AFC, shout out to the Providence Red Raiders, #1 seed in the league as of right now. And we do play them in a few weeks, I think in 3. So that could be potential battle of the #1 seeds. Not sure yet, but definitely got that one marked on the good old calendar. Portland Destroyers are #2. Boulder Rockies are #3. Akron Summits are 4. Wow, I thought they were like 7. So I apologize, Summits, for not showing you the love earlier. Portland Lobsters are 5. St. Pete Manatees, after beating us last episode, are now in the playoffs at 6. Congrats to you guys. Definitely well-deserved. And then the Memphis Suns at #7. Over on the NFC side, we no longer have the #1 seed. That is owned by the Salem Steelhawks. So shout out Cameron Moore and the boys. Took that from us, and we got to try to get it back. We are #2 seed currently. Rochester Rebels are 3. Grand Rapid Lightning are 4. Savannah Spirits are 5. Fort Worth Rough Riders are 6. And then the Oklahoma City Eels are #7 seed. So we got, actually, in the NFC South, 3 of our teams are representing the playoffs right now, which is pretty impressive. But still a lot of several weeks to go. So anything could happen. But this is how the SFL playoffs are shaken up as of right now. Wow, so that was probably a longer episode than I anticipated, but I think it's important that, you guys make your entries, you're in the league, you're a subscriber, you want to do well. Like, at some point, you should know how you're doing, in the league. And I think that we went through all 166 subscribers. If I missed you, please call me out in the comments, and I will give you a special shout out next episode. But coming up here, week 14, we take on the San Jose Industrials. Got the St. Louis Sentinels in week 15, and there is that Providence Red Raiders game that I was talking about in week 16. So some really huge playoff implications coming up in the weeks to come. Make sure you tune in because you are not going to want to miss it. So that is going to do it for me tonight, guys. As always, I appreciate you stopping by. I will catch you on the next one. Until then, peace.